I'm Naomi Singer, Artistic Director of the Secret Lantern Society and the 27th Annual Winter Solstice Lantern Festival. We're going to learn how to make what's basically a box lantern. We're calling it a nature lantern because we're going to use materials just from nature. As you can see in this one that I made a number of years ago, driftwood, and this is actually pieces of seaweed that I put in there. The tools that you need for today are a hot glue gun, some scissors, a stir stick for your glue, clippers to cut your branches with, a brush, the tea light that comes in at the end, a selection of leaves, and a jar of water. My hot glue gun has been plugged in. Some people don't like to use a hot glue gun. You can use tape instead to bind the corners, and I'll show you how to do that. So just as a brief public safety announcement, I have to let you know that a hot glue gun is in fact very hot. I want you to be very careful about it. You notice I have a tin pan here to put that in. So I need to make 4 upright posts for my box lantern, and I need 8 small cross pieces to join the top and the bottom. So I don't want them to be too thick. I've cut my 4 uprights, and now what I need to do is attach them with the cross pieces. So I'm attaching one there and attaching one here. And I'm doing this fairly low at the bottom for stability. So now I'm going to actually do the attaching, which is a small bit of glue on there. Press that down. It's good to hold the joint for about 30 seconds, and if there's any danger of the hot glue, just poke it with a stick. I've just poked 2 holes in a piece of styrofoam to make a stand to stabilize the base while I glue it together. While it's been attached to the styrofoam base, I've been able to turn this around, add the cross pieces, glue them so they're securely in place. I'm going to reinforce these corners with a little bit of the extra hot glue. If you don't like to use a hot glue gun, you can use tape, and you just simply twine it around in figure 8s so that it feels secure. I'm making the base here for our candle to sit in. I've used some flat bamboo just because it's easier to use at this point. I want my candle to sit in there securely, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hot glue gun this directly on there, and then you can always still replace the candle. So I've just finished making our frame and securing the candle in there. These parts are poking out, so I'm just going to trim those off so they don't catch on anything. That's nice. Now, before I start papering, I'm going to take this candle out so that as I'm moving the frame around, this doesn't fall out. And since I'm going to start gluing my paper, I'm putting down some plastic to protect the table. Each side needs 2 pieces of tissue paper on it. So I'm going to cut 4 pieces of paper wider than I need so that I can fold it over. I'm going to keep my water and my glue and my stir stick over on one side, and I'm keeping my tissue paper on the other. So the only interaction that they have with each other is intentional. I'm just painting one side of the frame at a time. I'm being as careful as I can not to get any glue in here, because I just want it to stick to the frame right now. So I've done one side, and now I'm gluing this next side. You have to do the underside so that when you fold it over, it's actually gluing on. It's wet now, so it's fragile and it's sticky. So I'm going to put my brush in the water since I'm not going to use it for a few minutes, and I'm going to blow dry this. The next stage that I'm going to do is called sizing. I'm going to cover this with a layer of glue that's slightly more watered down. I'm getting glue on every part of the tissue paper. You want the tissue paper completely coated with glue. So when I add the second layer, it's going to completely adhere to it. And then I start at the bottom, tack it down with my fingers just a little bit, and then I brush upwards so that it'll lie down as nice and flat as I possibly can get it. Liberal amounts of glue. Wrapping the tissue paper around the back really helps reinforce the whole structure and will keep the tissue paper in place. I want to add a leaf now. Coat the leaf. So there's glue underneath and glue on top. And we're just going to put a piece of tissue paper on top to hold that down. Brush it firmly, again from the inside out, so you get rid of any bubbles. You can use some fresher green bits as well. Some pine needles. There's lots of materials out there that are dried up now that wouldn't be good to glue onto the surface, but we can still use them. I'm going to take a nice long thin strip of tissue paper and I'm going to start that around with my fingers like that. I'm just going to make sure that nothing droops down into where the candle flame is. Ta-da! I really hope that you're proud of the lantern that you made today using the natural materials. You can use it in your home all year long, and especially enjoy it on winter solstice night, December 21st, and join us on our live stream so you can show us the incredible lantern that you made.